What's up, Video Land? How y'all doing today? It's your girl Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. And that is N-I-K-I. I know I can say that over and over and over again, and you all still put 2 Ks in my name, but that's okay. I am sitting here probably indulging in my most sensitive training ever. I have a book coming out. It was actually due to be launched last November. And God kind of dropped in my spirit that the timing wasn't right. November of 2020, the entire year of 2020, it was just too much going on. And my book, I know, is going to strike some nerves. I already know. The book is called Salon Ownership. But across the ownership, it has the word slavery, okay? I'll be putting the book on as I go through. And some of you all, I've already had 200 pre-orders, right? Let me tell you what I wanted to take a deep dive into. I have watched how the salon industry, in particular, has operated in business for at least, 34 years now? It was 34 years for me in February. And it's not even at February 28th. So I got a little time, right? I got 8 more days before it'll be my 34th year anniversary. So I have wanted to understand the more that I got an opportunity to stretch my wings and to do business with other nationalities, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, Ukrainian, Italian, Jewish. I've really had a really prosperous career and a lot of diversity. So I've had the opportunity to deal with a lot of people with different nationalities, Hispanic, that I come to realize that they looked at business differently than we do. And so when I started noticing this, I'm one of those girls I'm the black girl in the middle of a bunch of other nationalities that will ask the black girl question or say something like, why do you all do that? Because black people don't do that. I'm that girl, right? So this has made, I believe, me very intriguing to them. So whenever I would talk to one of my associates that were of a different nationality, I would often ask them, it would be business questions. And I would often ask them, how are they raised? How when they were brought up, how did they view business? And it would just be all these type of questions, and I would get all these different answers. But the thing that was interesting is the ones that I've talked to most, Chinese, Ukrainian, Hispanic, and probably Italians are the ones I've actually had. Jewish, I've really had the opportunity of talking in depth with. They all saw business very similarly. They really did. They saw the struggles with business very similarly. They saw everything that came with business. They were kind of unanimous in their perspective. But then I talked to my black people, what we would call successful entrepreneurs. And let me tell you what I noticed. What I noticed was the blacks, depending on what level of success they were in, if they were in what I call a middle class level of success, that means, 150,000 to maybe 300K a year, and they were living comfortable. They weren't rich, but they were living comfortable, and they felt that they were successful in whatever it was that they were doing. They had one mindset. But when I got an opportunity to talk to the wealthiest of the black entrepreneurs that were kind of on the other side of this thing, they weren't hustling anymore. They were literally living off of the fruits of their labor. Them, their children, as the Bible says, their children's children, and it even showed a different perspective between that middle group, which is considered middle class, 150,000 to maybe 300,000 K, and then the upper middle and the wealthy. It was still a very different perspective. Now, if you even take the $150,000 to $300,000 class and you compare what they think to the people that are just barely scrapping by, and, unfortunately, the masses that are not making enough money in order to pay all of their bills or debts, or they're making more debts than they actually have money and living well beyond their means, it was a different way of thinking. I noticed as the social economic class got greater with black people, the mentality started to shift. So I wanted to take a deep dive. Now, I have been researching this material for a lot of years. I didn't just read a book last year and come up with this, but I'm going to read you all something. It's a little bit long, but you all roll with me today. My book deals with this, and it deals with salon owner / slavery ship, and it deals with the mentalities, the embedded mentalities that a lot of Black entrepreneurs, not just the salon industry, but this is the one that I know well. It's dealing with, because it hasn't dropped yet, a lot of the mentalities that are carried over into our entrepreneurship and are really detrimental to the success or failure of our businesses. And so let me just, now my book is going to take a deep dive into this, and I'm going to be constantly making comparisons of reality, things that are happening still today, and things that were put out there for us to kind of get instilled subconsciously. So let me start off. Slavery was in the United States abolished with Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation when it took effect. This was in 1863. Now, this is part of the introduction of my book. It's actually in there, but I'm going to go deep. I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm sure it has not completely gone away. Slavery flourished in North America in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, where it was an important part of the country's economic system. It was. Slave trade was also part of how the economy thrived back in those eras. Under the legendary sugar rum slave triad, sugar was shipped from the Caribbean to Europe, where it was distilled into rum. Profits from this were then used to ship merchandise to Africa, where it was traded for slaves. So alcohol, the sugar, rum trade, basically it helped distill and produce rum. So that was the trade then, okay? Let me see, where did I stop off here? Where it was sent to the Caribbean, and they were sold as field hands for the sugar plantations. A lot of us have heard that, they picked cotton and they were on the sugar plantations, but we didn't really know how that came to be. Okay, and I'm paraphrasing some stuff too. And the others were used for just outdoor servants. If they weren't actually picking the sugar canes and the sugar plantations, they were just used as outdoor servants for whatever. The torturous life of slaves involved things such as picking cotton, heavy labor, and basically just about every menial task that was imaginable. Whatever menial task was needed to be done, a slave was made to do it. Some would try to escape. Others would resist slavery and rebel, such as the famous Nat Turner Rebellion in 1831. You all can research that. Runaways would be recaptured and returned to their master, where they were brutally punished publicly, primarily using a whip. Well, we've seen the movies, right? That really did happen. Rebels were executed quickly to the rules and regulations of their masters, therefore, or thereby, becoming dependent on him for food, clothing, and shelter. Consequently, now listen to this, they learned to live modestly. And I'm going to give you an example of a conversation that I had that metaphorically kind of compares to this. Avoid responsibility and be happy allowing someone else to take care of them. Okay? So much that they would even defend the master in perilous times, knowing their livelihood depended on it. So let me give you an example in real time. I'm going to go a little further, but I'm going to give you an example with that about how they learned to live modestly. I had a conversation with a barber, I don't know, maybe about a year ago. And we were talking about what's enough money. What's enough money to you? Like, what do you feel if you made, this was the most amount of money you ever made in your life, would that be enough for you? And the barber told me 150. Now, that's way low by my standards. And I mentioned, he said, well, what would you think is enough money? I said, at least double digit seven figures, minimally double digit seven figures. His exact word to me was, do you really believe that you could ever make that kind of money in this business? And I was like, absolutely. But his disdain for it was interesting because it was as if I was living in some unrealistic bubble. Well, because I'm an entrepreneur at heart, I recognize that I can make as much as I'm willing to work and to learn and to strategize to make. So we got a little deeper in this conversation. And this is also a barber that holds what we call a regular job. This is also a person that really believes that entrepreneurship is not smart. You need to go get a real job. I'm sure some of you all have heard that. So you can not have to worry about retirement, not have to worry about Social Security, not have all these things that come with the master taking care of you. See, as an entrepreneur, the master don't take care of you. If you don't set up for your retirement, you don't have it. If you don't set up for your 401k or some type of something, SEP, Roth, IRA, something, you will not have it. So it is absolutely imperative that you set up your own life. The minute you chose to be an entrepreneur, you went against the master preparing anything for you. You made a decision, I'm going to take care of my own livelihood, my own food, my own shelter, my own clothing, etc., etc. But this is where the problem happens and where some of my salon owners do have the slave mentality is because we do this knowing that we have to incur all the risk, but we still somewhere expect someone else to be responsible for us. Perfect example in the last 6 months. How many salon owners had your independent contractors that felt like because they weren't working, they should not have to pay rent? That is a slave mentality because in your mind, nobody owes you anything. If you have a contract that says that you have to pay X, Y, Z, and your landlord / salon owner has to also pay, they didn't get off the hook to their landlord, so you can't get off the hook to yours. And I cannot tell you how many times I spent hours of with conversations about people, whether they should, whether they shouldn't. So that's one thing. My book is going to get even deeper than that. Let me go further and go into something else for you. Okay, slave codes were introduced to prohibit slaves from learning how to read and write, carry firearms, attend religious gatherings, and many other activities, all aimed at controlling their behavior. This was all done to dissuade slaves from running away or rebelling. If you keep people ignorant, they cannot excel. If you as a salon owner don't spend time learning anything else other than the craft that you have of doing hair, cutting hair, coloring hair, barbering, I don't care what you do, then you are really keeping yourself in bondage, because the only way you get free in this world and truly live free is through information, period. You don't get free any other way, and what you do with that information. So staying ignorant and thinking all your salon needs is just for everybody in here to do hair well, some of you all have already learned it doesn't cut it, okay? I'm going to go a little further. And it frankly proved to be very effective for this purpose, okay? When slaves were freed, some thrived under the newfound freedom. Many others were lost and became wards of the state. They may have been freed from their masters, but they were lost without someone telling them what to do or giving them instruction. We live in a world where information for anything you want to know is at the touch of your fingertips. But we only want to use the World Wide Web for buying things, for buying clothes or shopping or this. We have got to understand to get out of that mentality of living this really mediocre, modest life when we can do better. I don't know any salon owner that when you open your salon, you didn't want to strive, but you didn't spend any energy learning how to do what we were once kept from doing, writing, reading. We got all this at our disposal now, and we don't use it. And then you wonder why your business is failing. Okay, I'm going to go further. Then it goes into the slave mentality is very much among us today. Now, this is research stuff. I didn't make this up, okay? A class of people have emerged into this country who put forth minimal effort, knowing the master will take care of them. And the master in today's world is considered corporate and the government. That's the master today, okay? As more and more people become addicted to entitlements, it's almost like when the pandemic hit, I had many conversations with many people who were upset because they couldn't get any form of unemployment, or they couldn't get EIDL loans, or they couldn't get PPP loans. I get it. We all had to take a hit. No one was exempt from that. But the thing that was amazing to me is how angry people were at the fact that the government imposed this shutdown, but yet they were ill prepared for any kind of business issue before that even happened. Some of them weren't even making it before it happened. So whose fault is that? That's not the government's fault. That is our fault for not taking on what we once were not even allowed to do, to read some stuff, to write some stuff, to learn some stuff. The government is not keeping you from doing that anymore. So if you have this mentality, you are now keeping yourself from doing this. I'm going to sidebar a little bit. It's often amazing to me when I'm doing my speaking engagements, which God knows I'll be so happy when I start back doing them again. It's amazing to me how I think about something we all know about. Rosa Parks fighting because she didn't want to sit in the back. And it's amazing to me when I look at a room and I watch when the people come in the room, and I watch how, without even being conscious of it, Caucasians and every other nationality come sit smack dab in the front, and I see all of my people sitting in the back. And they don't have to. We have been conditioned to do things, and we don't even know we're doing it. But these things are hindering our businesses, mainly the business I know well, which is the salon industry. In my book, like I said, it breaks down all of this. I go from the beginning to what's happening now, et cetera, et cetera. Let me go a little further. As more and more people become addicted to entitlements, I said that, they become more apathetic and less likely to work or work hard. As an example, let's consider, now you all may not know this, this is in my research, the American Indian, where we have spent in excess of $2.6 billion annually over several years for such things as healthcare, education, public safety, housing, and rural development, has the highest, I'm losing my place here, suffers from the highest poverty rate and lowest life expectancy in the country. The point is, when you become dependent on the master, the government or corporations or some other higher power to provide for you, and such amenities are guaranteed to you, there is a natural inclination for apathy to run rampant, okay? You can pre-order the book right on my website. It'll drop March 2nd. I changed the book's setting. Originally, when I researched this book for years and came up with the correlations of what happened then and what we do now, I wrote the book in third person, which is typically how books are written. As I started to write the book more and more, it became more personal to me. I remembered the times when the mindset, the slave mindset that I had, that I was not even aware that I had, I remembered the times when it shifted. As my life shifted, it shifted, and I started to have a different perception about how I needed to move forward. And so as I wrote this book, it started becoming more of an autobiography, me giving you all examples and being extremely transparent about all the things that I knew I had to adjust and to totally do a 180 about in order for my life to get to where it is today. So I had to go back. I changed the book, and I decided to say, instead of it being what did I say? Salon ownership. The cover is great too. Kudos to the guy that did the cover. I can't remember Terrell. I'll put his credits on there. I forgot his graphics company's name. And it started to say how to break. That's what it started at being. How to break the chains of this mentality and salon ownership. Then I had to change it. And I said how I broke the change. So I made it more personable. So it made me have to go back and kind of rewrite it and say me where it was saying you and saying I when it was saying us and all this kind of stuff. So I want you all to think about this. If you ever find yourself in the mindset that when it comes to your business that someone owes you something, you may be dealing with a little bit of the slave mentality. All right. And I'm going to break this down even further, but I wanted to introduce, this is just 2 pages out of the 10-page introduction. And it's something that I see rampant. I'm going to be able to tell, I'm going to have a video book and I'm going to have these real video interviews embedded in the book. You'll be able to buy it in paperback, or if you get the digital format, you'll get all the videos that you'll be able to watch. These interviews, when I interview people that are Jewish, when I interview people that are Chinese, when I interview people that are Italian, people that are Hispanic, and I interview them asking these questions, and I ask everybody the same questions, and you will be amazed at how different the opinions of different nationalities are, kind of on the same vein. But then when I get here to my people who I love so much, it's a whole different mindset. It's a hustle. It's something we do because we know we can, but we have not altered our mindset around what it really means to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to share with you entrepreneurship. And there were many Black people that pioneered this thing, and it was how we got from under the master's thumb. But they had to think about it in a way that it was different than just a hustling. It had to be beyond your talent. It had to be beyond your natural gift. It had to be in a broader scope of how they viewed and their perception of what success is. Yes, the answer to the barber that asked me that question last year, yes, in this business, you can make 7 figures. Absolutely. But you cannot make it with a slave mentality. It'll never happen because you'll only do modestly a modest amount of work that it requires in order for you to get there. No, you got to do the work now. But I'm also going to teach you about using your brain and not always using your hands. Learn how to strategize. Learn how to do things that won't require you to always kill yourself. And then I'm going to leave you with this. I have a young man that I've been coaching. I won't say his name, but I took him on, I think, maybe about 8 months ago, and he's amazing. He teaches me probably about as much as I teach him. And when he first started coaching with me, this was in the interview before I even accepted him as a coachee, he said something to me I'll never forget. He said he had never seen the salon business. Now, he's a barber, so he said barber. He had never seen the barber business or salon business live beyond the owner. He said he didn't even know it was possible. He said every salon or barbershop he's ever worked in, he's been in the industry about 20 years now. He said if the owner died, if the owner got sick, if the owner decided I don't want to do this no more, the salon or barbershop always died with them. That is not what business is about. You have to start thinking differently for your business to outlive you. Period. For all of you all that think you are leaders, you ain't a leader if ain't nobody following you. Let me just put that out there. If nobody's wanting to follow you or nobody's behind you trying to catch up to where you aren't doing anything. And as my friend says, if you can't measure it, it don't matter. All right? So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to replay this video. Please share this. I am doing everything in my power as long as God gives me breath to help the people in my Black salon industry, my Black salon owners. And I specifically say Black salon owners because we do it differently than our counterparts. And I am, until the day I die, if you get it while I'm living, beautiful. If you don't get it till I'm gone, that's okay too. As Simon Sinek says, if you are fighting for a just cause, anything that's worth fighting for, and it is a just cause, You will not see the full fruits of it until you are no longer here. I have accepted that. I have accepted that this is a just cause worth fighting for. Every opportunity I get, I'm going to put the information out. If you accept it, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. But I am watching black salons close at a disproportionate rate of white salons. And in this book, I have the statistics from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics showing the reasons why, showing the percentages of black businesses failing versus their Caucasian or other counterparts. So wait for it. It'll drop in whatever March 2nd is. Is that about 10 days or so? It'll drop then. I'm just going back, doing a couple edits that my editor told me to do, making sure that it says me and not us and all these things. But if you want to get it in advance, you can go on my website, knowledgebynikki.com. It allows you to put your information in. You'll get it in advance. Anybody who does that, you will get the paperback issue. I'm going to put on there because I actually need to specify whether you want the digital option or the paperback option. The digital option will give you the videos and you'll see the interviews. The paper option, you'll just read about it. So it depends on what you like. You know, auditory learner, visual learner, kinesthetic learner, all of that matters. But I want you all to just marinate on some of the things that I've just told you. And I'm going to be back. I'm going to be doing something every single day, a little by little, shedding some light on some of these things. I'm even going to put some posts up of some graphs that I have as parts of the book that show you the disproportionate things that happen with black businesses versus other businesses. And these are direct contributors to why we are not succeeding. So share this video. Stay tuned. I'll be coming on randomly throughout the day. I'll be coming on at 9 in the morning, 9 at night. So just set your notifications so you won't miss it. And this is Knowledge by Nikki with 1K. And I'm out and I'm going to finish doing my work today. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful, prosperous Friday.